Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Thomas and today you join me with this 1988 Citroen BX 14 RE. So stay tuned for this video. So a special thanks to Andrew for bringing me along this Citroen BX to film today. So here we have a 1988 Citroen BX 14 in RE trim. It's even got the original plates from Yates in Stockport. Now this particular car is a 1.4 litre petrol producing 72 brake horsepower at 5,750 RPM, 105 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM. Now the crazy thing is this car is a four-door family car and it weighs under 900 kilograms, 897 kilos from what I can see in the brochure, which means 0 to 62 miles per hour or 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is 15.5 seconds claimed and a top speed of 163 kilometers per hour. The fuel efficiency for this car is 7.3 litres per 100 kilometers and the fuel tank is 44 litres.
So the BX is controlled with hydropneumatic suspension and it's controlled from the spheres in the engine bay. We have the main sphere down here which regulates the pressure. So all the other spheres, we have the main ones here on the top mounts, in the front, and over here we have cutely named the Octopus, which you can top up with LHM fluid to feed the system, and that then also just controls the fluid through the system. The engine is nicknamed a suitcase engine as it lies on its side.
So with the BX14, back in 1994, in this particular trim, there was over 17,000 registered on the UK. Now, 30 years later in 2024, we're looking at 11. That's 11 BX14 REs left here in the UK taxed. How crazy is that? So in the rear, we have 444 litres of boot space. As you can see, decent size rectangular area, a little bit of a lip, but is deep and boxy, and with the seats folded down you're going to have 1,455 litres of boot space. We'll have a quick look inside the Citroen. Put the doors up. First thing you're greeted with are these door cards. As you can see, we've got this nice carpeted material on the door card here and electric window switches up the top with a little manual operation for the side mirror, and down here is where your door opener is. We do have a tiny little door storage unit here, maybe something to keep a map, something like that, a wee book, not too big. And then we'll move inside the interior of the cabin. So this is inside the Citroen BX. Now you can see we've got a thinly rimmed steering wheel here. This is before airbags and Euro in-cab safety. So we do have the kind of one spoke here for the old-fashioned Citroen badge down here. Now this is the facelift model, which means we do have more conventional buttons in here for things like your lights, indicators and all that good stuff. The Mark 1 had a wee cluster of lights switches over here, and the dashboard is slightly different in the Mark 1 as well. So we're focusing today on this Mark 2 that we have our hands. Now down the right hand side here is where things like your choke live and fog lights. We do have some nice little air vents, hazards up the top right here, window squishers up here as well. We have the electric windows down here, which is an optional extra on this RE trim. And yeah, the material's all kind of like covered in a vinyl material, as you can see, very soft and pliable. Just how thin the doors are as well, same as the A-pillar, because visibility out front is pretty good. And then dashboard material quality, this is very much plastic fantastic. Like that is something you probably get from a toy or something like that, but I guess it's a car from the 80s. But yeah, just the driving position, the seats are very soft and comfortable, and plush, just the way you kind of fall into them. And I love the gauge cluster. You know, we've got this clock going round here. It does have things like the choke light pops on when the engine's on. We have your fuel gauge on the left there, and instead of saying like full, we've got 4 quarters, but we've also got 1/2 in the middle. It just has a little novel thing there. Speedo, as you can see, goes up to 140 miles per hour, 220 kilometers per hour, but we know from earlier that is not the real speed limit of this car. these cute little stalks here, which are very thin and lightweight, which I guess is probably a cost-saving measure, but yeah, it does look quite sleek and modern. In the middle here, we do have a cigarette lighter, dual air vents, this little bit here, which if this was a 2000s car, I would say that's where the sat nav was, but there is an optional extra for storage, so I guess I got a wee lid here that clips in. We do have big buttons here to turn for your climate. Now down here is where your cigarette lighter ash is going to go from your cigarettes. Back in the day when people smoked in the cars, and then down here we've got a little coin holder, which I think is quite cool, especially for like toll roads, things like that. You get there's a little 5p piece in there, but different sizes, different thicknesses, all for your coins. Down here is a radio. This has got the connector there for modern day music with the cassette player. And down here we have the 5-speed transmission, which was kind of optioned up from the RE above. The base model had a 4-speed. Now we do have some storage in here for tapes. This one's got Catfish and the Bottlemen. As I mentioned, a gear selector there, which is kind of like a ball shaped with this little rubberized material around here. And the indication for if it's a 5-speed and the kind of ratio for the gears are down here. Little kind of cover for, I guess it's going to be bolting all this material and plastic in place. Now, this is the interesting bit. So we've got a manual handbrake, which again was all the rage back in the day, but now it's all electronic. We've got this switch here, which controls the suspension, so we can put it in low ride height. We've got it in normal mode for everyday driving, a rough road mode, and then a service mode, which means it's even useful if you're cleaning the wheels, for example. Puts it into maximum height. Not too much else to show you back here. Now let's have a quick look at these seats, because these are designed for comfort, and I feel that Tyler Hoovey from Hoovey's Garage would absolutely love this, because he's always going on about land yachts and big thick pillowy seats, and the French knew what to do back in the day. Like, there must be about 10-15 centimeters there of cushion alone in there. Very impressive, and this, like, you just sink into them just like being at a comfortable chair at home. And even the headrest as well are just like nice soft squidgy pieces. The headline in this car is kind of like, I don't know, like stingray skin looking. It's a very unusual material, but it's something I wanted to bring up just to show you on this video. And of course we do have little handlebars up there for grab handles. As you'd expect, the driver does not have one, but I will show you anyway. I'm 5'11", and I've got a couple of inches of headroom there. Shoulder room's all right. And this is really comfortable up front, and I know the owners of this car. I've recently taken it to the FOTU down south, and they're down near Grantham, so they've managed to do a long road trip from up here in Scotland and back, so they can testify to how comfortable this car is. But yeah, it's like, for the short time that I've been in it today, it's a very comfortable car to sit in and just experience, you know, something from a decades bygone. It's a 1988, this car is. So other quirks are going to include things like your interior lighting is actually on the B-pillar itself there. It's not up here on the roof. And then we've got little visors down here, which there's no little vanity light or even a cover for the mirror, but we do have that in there. Let's go and have a look inside the back. So as you can see immediately, we've got massively padded rear seats, like so, and we've got physical window winders up here. We've got a little ashtray and the window door release up here. So on the door card here, we do have physical window winders, and we do have your little pull here for your door handle, and your cigarette ashtray is going to be down here in more of that carpeted material. There is no rear cubbies, and there's nothing behind the seats either for like mat pockets or putting things for your bottles. But you do have plenty of room, which we'll go ahead and jump inside. So as you can see, we've got decent enough knee room. The floor is fairly flat. Like, this really impressed me for this being like a 4-door family car. Usually got a high transmission hump, and in here we've got a really low hump. As I mentioned, you've not got any like mat pockets back here, but it is covered in like a vinyl material you could wipe down, and you can stretch your legs. As I've mentioned, 5'11", and I'm sitting fairly comfortably back here. I'll flip the camera around so you can see the headroom, but you get a decent view out front. So this is kind of me in my driving position. An inch or so of headroom. Shoulder room's all right. and it's going to be fairly comfortable back here. There's not too much going on. There's no screens, there's nothing to entertain you, there's not even climate vents, but we do have the manual window winders if you want some of that air in here. So this is the seat pattern back here. With no rear headrests in this particular model, but we do have this kind of stitching onto the seats just to give you a little bit of pattern. But this has just been like at your family couch. If you imagine like your relative's couch growing up, this is kind of what it's like. Super comfortable, and definitely one of the advantages of a car of this age. While I was back here, I noticed the seatbelt here is made in Yugoslavia. So in the back of the Citroen, we do have this vinyl material, same as up front, carpeted material, but there's just more of it. Physical manual door winders. This is your kind of mechanism here to unlock the door, kind of pulls down like a butterfly. Little ashtray for your cigarette lighter smoke. There is no mat pocket or door pockets inside of here, but we do have a relatively flat and low floor, so there's not really much of a transmission hump. This one being a lower spec, we do have these little kind of gaps in here. We were curious, and I'm speaking to Andrew, wonder if that might have been for all-round electric window switches, if it was a higher trim model, or even rear climate. So if you know, comment below, be curious to know what this could have been. But yeah, we do have really plush, this is probably about thicker than up front again. This is maybe that much, is maybe like 20 centimetres in thickness of cushion. It's really supportive. Yeah, so the seats are about 20 centimetres in thick of padding and cushion. Very comfortable, softly sprung, and coupled with suspension, this is a very comfortable car. Ideal for modern day potholes, especially around the central belt of Scotland, never mind country rustic farm roads that maybe you've seen back in the day. But yeah, overall, decent room, boxy shape, ideal family car. It's just fun to kind of take a trip down a different decade, I guess. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video on the Citroen BX. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel below, check it out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next video.